Hi, this is Mike Inez from Alice in Chains. I am sitting here in Oakland, California at the beautiful Fox Theater. God, I started this crazy business in Ozzy Osbourne band, I'd say about 1990-ish, 89, 90, somewhere in there. Yeah, so it's just been a wonderful time. I was in Ozzy Osbourne band at the time, and that's how I met the guys in Alice in Chains. They were opening up for Ozzy after our No More Tears cycle. I think we did a 16, 18-month tour for that record. And at the last 3 or 4 months, these crazy guys from Seattle started opening up for us, and we just got to be really, really good friends with them. Finished the Ozzy tour, and we're mixing the double Live and Loud album. I remember getting a call from Sean Kinney. The guys were in Brazil doing a show with the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Nirvana at the time. And Mike, their bass player, he opted to go home and didn't want to do this anymore. So they asked me if I'd like to go, and initially it was to fill in. Here we are 17 years later. I'm still filling in. And yeah, I think we did 3 rehearsals. Actually, I think it was only 2 rehearsals. One day was just us smoking hash in a rehearsal joint called John Henry's in London. I just remember the day, hazy day in London. Well, we took our, with the Black Gives Way to Blue album, we took our time with it. You know, it's just mind blowing to me that I'm even talking to you about a new Alice in Chains release after all these years. And you know, we financed it ourselves. We didn't want to rush anything, and we did that with the option of pulling the plug if we wanted to, if we didn't think it sounded good, or you know, we were just gonna say screw it and not do it if it didn't sound good. You know, didn't live up to the legacy or whatever, but. Together, it started there, and then it turned into, do you guys want to play like 4 or 5 club gigs? That's where we picked up William Duvall, our wonderful singer. He came into the mix around that time. Just great to be here. Amazing. Yeah, the bass parts came together real natural on this. We had a great producer named Nick Raskolinich, and who was also a bass player himself. So it was really nice to sit down with a producer that was really concentrating on bass and just loves bass as much as I do, you know. And you know, just trying new pickups, and he had some really cool old Fenders that we were using, and we just went through every bass and bass amp combination. It was just really a nice process for me as a bass player to sit down with Nick and just really you know, spend the time on the bass. A lot of producers will just gloss over the bass, you know, and you know, oh, it sounds good enough, and then they use the same bass tone for every song on the record. You know, I've done tons of records over the years, and I've never seen a guy so into the bass as Nick. You know, it's just really cool. It's like, hey, try this old Gibson I got, or try this old Fender. You know, we're just like 2 kids in a candy store, and they're just giggling to ourselves, trying all these crazy guitars and amps out. You know, and yeah, it's a really special record for me personally. I mean, it's you know, it's a great goodbye record to Lane Staley, and I just felt it was you know, it wasn't a record we had to do. We weren't losing our houses or anything. This isn't about the money, you know. It's but spiritually, it was a record we had to do, I think, you know. So to say goodbye to Lane, we had to go through this grieving process, the 3 of us together, you know, and it was really an important part. Looking back now, a year and a half, 2 years later now, it's just a really important thing for us to go through. And obviously, it was a hard record to make without our brother Lane there in the room, and yeah, so it took a long time. We took our time with it. We didn't want to rush anything. We wanted to do this in a very classy way, you know. We never set out to replace Lane Staley in any way. William's very respectful of the past of this band and the city of Seattle and what the whole thing represents, you know. And he's just been not filling shoes, but really making his own shoes with this whole thing. I'm very excited for him and proud of him to stand up there in front of everybody. I've told him early on that it was going to be a process of him just standing in front of those people face to face, and one at a time, one gig at a time, winning everybody over. And I was just very proud to look over to my left and see William there with his chin out, just screaming these songs out and giving it his all. You know, it's just a really amazing process for me to watch from where I stand. You know. Oh, you know, we just had this band argument upstairs in sound check. It's funny. I guess you could say it's a luxury problem that we have. We have too many songs. You know, I mean, there's not a whole lot of bands that have that luxury. I mean, we even break it down to tours. If we get tired doing this big electric circus, we break it down to just go do. You know, we'll book a theater tour and just go and do acoustic songs. You know, and things like that. So we're very blessed. You know, we're arguing out tonight. It's funny because we got the huge stage set tonight. So it's there's songs and video. The videos have to go with the songs and the lights, and it's all like you know, there's a lot of shit going on. There's 5 or 6 songs that have to be in the set, and then you know, there's usually 5 or 6 that we pick. And you know, one day I want to play Rotten Apple, and Jerry wants to play Junkhead, and William wants to play this song, and Sean wants to play that song. You know, and then we write them all down. And then we realize, oh, well, we're going to be here 3 fucking hours. There's no way we can do this, you know. So we got to, you know, it's a question of like, which of your kids do you want to kill, you know, every night. So if we look at the list, it's like, oh, I really like that song. Oh, well, we'll play it tomorrow, you know. So, yeah, Rooster's always on there. Yeah, so far, yeah, they always want to hear that one. So that's a big sing along for the crowd. And it's just a funny thing. I like playing them all. I'm good as long as it's loud. As long as we're making racket together, I don't care. You know, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I got a really kick-ass job. This is a fun time. You know, I thought back 20 years ago when I was jamming with Ozzy, I would do this for 1 year and go back to college, get some money or something like that. And here I am, you know, 20 years later, we're still, you know, humble and blessed to be getting these Grammy nominations, and all this stuff's happening for us again. So it's an exciting time for the Alice in Chains camp, you know. Oh, my humble beginnings. Got it. You know, my whole family are musicians. It's really incredible. Like I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and when I was born, I went from the hospital to my grandma's house, and my mom's little brother Matt Inez, who's still playing in top 40 bands all over the San Fernando Valley. He had a band that had 2 or 3 guys from Earth, Wind and Fire in it. So it was like Al McKay and a couple of other guys. And so I came straight from the hospital to a live band rehearsal. Old Filipino family members are all in church bands and senior citizen bands and stuff, you know. So mandolin players and guitar players, and just really church-oriented kind of musical fellowship, you know. And so I just grew up that and my uncle's top 40 band. I'd go out in the garage, and they'd say, okay, don't touch our shit. And then as soon as they left, I'd be out there turning every guitar amp on, every drum, you know. And you know, so that kind of breeded my interest in music, which turned into, you know, clarinet playing in the 7th grade, and saxophone in the 8th grade, and marching band and jazz band and concert band. You know, all the way up to, you know, playing in clubs right before I was in the Ozzy band. You know, it's just, I wasn't in that many bands before I actually got the Ozzy gig. You know, I was really blessed by that. You know, I never thought I would get it in a million years, so I went to the audition not even nervous about it at all, because I'm never getting this fucking gig, you know. And then all of a sudden I'm living in a castle with Ozzy, and at like 21, 22 years old, you know, yeah, just a wild experience for me, you know. And here I am 20 years later, still a hoot for me, you know. I still just couldn't imagine me doing anything else for a living, you know. It's a really fun time for me. I could think of about 10 of them right off the bat, and they all involve Zach Wilde pissing on something. You know. But you know, I've been really blessed by you know, and every band has those moments, but you know, I've been super blessed by having professional crews all around me my whole career, you know. So a lot of that stuff really doesn't happen, you know. I mean, um, The stuff that used to scare me the most in the Ozzy band was the pyrotechnic stuff, right? They got guys blowing up, it's like a mini Vietnam every night on stage with Ozzy laser beams and shit blowing up. But it's when the stuff doesn't blow up, they say, okay, on the last chorus of I Don't Know, on this one beat, the bombs are going to go off. And then so to stay away from the bombs during that one second. So, but here's the scary part: is when the bombs don't go off, and now they're live. You don't know if they're live or loaded, and you're over there on the stage. Like now, you're afraid to move anywhere. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose a leg here just playing these damn songs. So it's just it's a funny life, It's we don't have so much. I mean, I wake up at 12 noon. I'm doing interviews up until 3 o'clock when I got a bus call. And then I come down, do sound check, and then we're doing meet and greets and these kind of video interviews right up until the gig starts. And then the gig starts and, we're on a bus and traveling to the next place, trying to sleep on stuff that's going really fast again, So, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of time to get in trouble like we used to, God. I could tell you some great, great stories, but I don't want to... yeah, I don't want to. There might be kids watching. You never know. So, but it's still a fun time for us, man. It's great. It's just a hoot. It's just amazing. Like, there's still new stuff for us every single day. We just got back from Europe, right? So, I was tripping around in these cities I've never been to, like Budapest, Hungary, and Warsaw, Poland, and Prague, Czechoslovakia, and we're looking at going to Croatia next, and Turkey, and Athens, places we've never. I've been to Athens before, but never playing. So, so for me, it's always cool. Especially, I'll go hang out with the younger guys on the crew, like somebody who hasn't seen the Eiffel Tower. If we got a day off in Paris, it's like, oh, come on, I'll show you the Mona Lisa, and we'll go, go to the Eiffel Tower, and I'll buy them drinks or whatever. And it's just really cool. I get to still explore these cities. I was just in these cave systems that are 10 million year old cave systems under this castle in Budapest, Hungary, overlooking this beautiful river, and going just tripping around like 10th century cobblestones in Prague, and so I get out of the hotel a lot. I think that's the whole secret for me. I can't just sleep in until sound check. So I eliminated that stress. So I do other shit now. I get out of the hotel and go trip around, and still the best part of my day though is walking up that ramp and just grabbing my bass and making racket. It may sound really funny, but ironically, the time that we get for ourselves is that time, those 2 hours we're on stage every night, 2.5 hours. That's when the phones aren't ringing, the fax isn't going off. I don't have a lot of people pulling you one direction or the other direction. So it's that's the time that's just for the band, So it's really sacred time for us. We take this very seriously, We respect our craft. We put our hard hats on, and in a very blue collar kind of way, we go to work every single day, and we take it very seriously. All this stuff, which is not how we used to do it in the old days. I don't remember a whole lot of the early days, but I'm sure I have had a lot of fun, and there's probably children of mine out there somewhere. So, Dad says hi, and I hope to meet you someday. For me personally, I pretty much wear my heart on my sleeve, and what you see is what you get. This is how we are every day. Oh yeah, I am getting married pretty soon to my same girl for 10 years. She's already lived with me for 7 or 8 at this point, so it wasn't exactly an impulse buy. But we're looking at having some kids pretty soon, and I have a joke about it. Then I got to switch holes. You probably can't put that on the thing. I'm a really simple monster, and I like it that way. I like my Oakland Raiders. I love football. I like my NASCAR. I snowboard religiously. I live on a ski resort in the forest, and so I just kind of do stuff like that. I'm 43 years old, and so I don't know. I don't really go to many bars anymore, and every time I do go to a concert, it's never to see a band anymore. It's to go see like a rigger I knew that I toured with 20 years ago, or a truck driver I know, and I just or you guys, it's just great to just see everybody, again. But I'm pretty a basic monster. It's not really blowjobs and cocaine and limousines anymore at this point, So I don't know. It's yeah, it's just a. I'm in my happy place. Yeah, yeah. I found my neutral buoyancy. It's just I like jamming. That's it. I just really, really like playing the bass and writing songs and hanging out with my friends. And we keep it very simple. We're just four guys that make racket in a room. We're the same four guys in from our high school band. That same kind of mentality. We just go in and try to get a cool guitar tone and turn that shit up. And it's, we're very happy that everybody still likes coming to see us play. And we're very humble about the whole thing, I mean, just really, just a blessing that we get to do this for a living. So that's about it. We just like to say goodbye from the beautiful Fox Theater in downtown Oakland, California, home of the Raiders. And yeah, I got to go get ready for the show, you guys. So we'll see you in a town near you very soon.
Hi, my name is Scott Dockrayton. I am the bass tech for Alice in Chains, Mr. Mike Inez. This is Mike Inez's prize bass that Ozzy bought him back in '93, if I'm not mistaken. Still playing it today, still loves it. This bass has obviously been through hell and back, been smashed a few times. I think every tech that's ever worked for him, including me, has offered to fix it, but he really likes it how it is. Because I think he just likes how it looks, and I kind of do too. It's kind of messed up, like me. I think, like a lot of us that are out here, am a failed musician. Started in our own bands when we were kids and played for a lot of years and did all that kind of stuff. And I ended up really by default. I started driving vans for my friends' bands when I wasn't touring myself, and ended up fixing stuff for them. And next thing you know, I was getting paid. I grew up in Australia. I started over there at a fairly early age. In fact, I was still in high school when I started doing my first tours, which is pretty nuts because I was supposed to be in high school. Which, by the way, kids, you should stay in high school. Yeah, and started off like that, and then eventually started getting the attention of some American bands, and they started hiring me and bringing me over, and that's how it started. It's very much a job. It is definitely fun at times. It's definitely not boring. But it is very much a job, and it is basically that sort of you'd have to have the mentality to do it. You've got to be able to be away for a long time, and you got to be able to work a lot. It's a hard. You have to have a pretty strong work ethic if you're working for especially a band like this, which has a really high profile. Yeah, learn as much as you can from everyone that you meet. And I still learn stuff all the time, and it's important to do so.